Many of you are probably shocked and wondering what in the world is going on when you saw on your phone or you saw an influencer post about a new social media app called Threads. It was already weird enough that you were seeing influencers already trying to tell you about the newest social media app that's coming out. What made it even weirder was the fact that whenever you decided it was time to download it, it mirrored almost a very familiar, already recognized social media app called Instagram, or as I call, Instaham. Many people are being brought into a new app, and it's a new platform that they have never actually used before. Even though it's based on an old model, a model that's been around almost as long as Facebook itself, known as Twitter. You know, the thing that Elon Musk, thought about buying and using to turn around, I don't know, politics, corruption.
To expose the real injustices that's coming in.
I don't care. Meta platforms, who back in the day we used to call Facebook, they are now the owners of a new app called Threads. Some people who have never used Twitter before are probably going to be curious as to why are people using it now? What's the big deal? What's this new Threads? What's the big deal? You have to look at what's going on with Meta's history back when they were Facebook. In 2016, they felt threatened by Snapchat stories, so they decided to mimic it, and they took on their own version on Instagram called just Stories. It was completely a steal right out for. Then in 2020, TikTok had already taken over a market of people who were obsessed with short form videos, and they were using it also as a social media presence platform in a way that was fast and almost competitive with Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. In fact, it was competitive enough with them that they decided to steal their ideas and they put it on the Instagram platform again and named it Reels. At least this time, instead of coming up with something new, Meta, at least you changed the name. You're going in a good direction. When you download the app, basically if you already have an Instagram account, you're already able to log into your Instagram account and you're already able to access it and mimic your account. You can use your same username as long as you've gotten it before someone has taken it. You're able to put the same bio, bring over the same followers that you already have. You can ask to follow them. It's really just a new form of what is known as micro-blogging. Apparently people still care about having a message that's 500 characters or less, or a 5-minute video or less. Well, of course I care about that. That's what TikTok and Reels is. Twitter's being known in the years 2022 and 2023 to be very crazy, Wild West like for a social media platform. A platform where people are able to go on there and say anything that they want until a bot takes it down. Why in the world would Facebook feel threatened by this? Meta feel threatened by this? Elon Musk has been known to actually have financial issues in the company Twitter since he's bought it. There were already turmoil before he bought it. That's the reason why the stock shares went down before he bought it. And even after he was gonna buy it and he had bought it for the price that he originally said he was going to. And the fact of the matter is, he's had to let go about 1,000 employees since he's taken over it. You gotta understand what time we're in the market, and you have to understand that right now, anything social media, anything technology, especially software based, where there are very few people able to afford subscriptions, and the basis of how that software is making money is through just followers or just people using the product, and advertisers are paying for those subscriptions and those followers and their data. That's the world that we are kind of in right now, and it's bound to go back up. Eventually the economy in the US and the world and everywhere is bound to hopefully maybe go back up, possibly. And that's the same thing that's going on for Meta. Meta knows that eventually they'll be making more money than they are right now. But with the Threads app, they've decided we're gonna use Instagram and Facebook as our money pumping machines, and we're gonna just let Threads be built. They're not gonna monetize it. They're not gonna profitize off of it at the get-go. There's no telling how long it'll be before Zuckerberg and his team at Meta will actually decide it's time to actually monetize and profit off of Threads. Facebook actually didn't make money over the first year or so of the app, and it's not very crazy to think that now he is willing to go a while without actually making money off of Threads. That Zuckerberg is willing to pump money into something that he feels like if he can have an edge and have a voice in the market and be able to cross-platform his softwares that he already owns, why not? Meta can control part of the market. Part of the market now that is in the news and that people are wondering about is microblogging. I'm not a super fan of microblogging. I wasn't back in the day. I could not really care myself for Twitter, but here's the big issue that people aren't looking at. Twitter is a form of microblogging. Threads will be a version of microblog. The more microblogging happens, the more drama exists in the media. See, that's why Twitter has stayed around for years. Even though people claim that it's not very useful as an app, it's still been used on many different news outlets, many different sports news outlets, many different articles and many blogs, vlogs, blogs, anything that can quote a good tweet has used it. That's why Twitter has stayed relevant even though not as many people have used it as Instagram or Facebook. That in itself is just proof that mini blogging is a viable, useful, it's somewhat worth having as a social media platform. And if Meta can get this right, if they can get users from their already existing platform to go to it, they would have a hand in knowing what's going on in the entire media. If they can take away Twitter's following, or even just take a following that's bigger than Twitter's. Twitter doesn't even have 1 billion users, and Facebook believes that they would be able to get to that kind of number with this new app called Threads. I think it's possible. Threads could be the new sensation, the new app that just changes social media forever. We won't know until the writing is on the wall. I created Twitter in the beginning of 2023. I'm more excited about using Threads. It just seems like I can use Threads to find out more information that's going to be more relevant, and especially for the fact that most people nowadays, younger people as myself and even younger than me, when you're following people who aren't necessarily part of the big media but they are media influencers, I imagine that influencers from Instagram and YouTube would like to use an app that mirrors Instagram and mirrors their platform, and they would use that to put their little micro blogs instead of putting it on to Twitter, where it's a totally different app that's separate, that has to follow its own little agenda. You'd have to have your own following on it, a different following. Whereas with Instagram, I believe eventually the cross-platform is going to be as simple as it is with Instagram and Facebook now. It's the same people, you know, same people, same work together. They work together. All right, I think everything's going to work together. I'm excited. Some people are bashing Threads already because they don't have a search for old threads or a search or a way to hashtag. But in all reality, maybe they're trying to start a new culture. In fact, if you actually use YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, most of the times when you want to look up something, the algorithms are changing to the point where it's less you having to find what you want, where the app can find what you want. I know that sounds crazy and very scary, but it's just a digital age that we're moving into. And if you don't believe that, you know, computers are going to control the future, well, I mean, just, you know, go work in a farm. I don't care. Alright, I hope all y'all enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. I don't ask how often, but we're close to that 100 mark that I plan to be at the end of the year. It's only July, y'all. Oh my gosh, we're almost there. So, everyone, subscribe. Thankful for everyone. And if you want to know my thread, it's the exact same as my Instagram, Baby Lion Cub 13.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. up my appetite.